Committee, so we'll see that next time. Now moving on to item 11, Stormwater Sparks Road Development Drainage Work Closeout Report. So, Mark Johnson, any comments that you'd like to make, or staff at the table, any comments that you'd like to make on this report?
Hi everybody. I've got no specific comments to make myself as a project manager, but I've got Mark Penrice here, who's the project manager for that particular piece of work. If you want to, would you like an overview of the project? Or
We can take the report as read. It's just if there's anything in particular that you wanted to point out.
No, I mean, the project's been a success as far as we're concerned. It's delivered on the community outcomes which we're trying to deliver against the 6 values. It's come in on budget. No, nothing more to add, Mark?
Yeah, I think it was a successful project.
And would this be typical of other similar projects?
Yeah, it's reasonably typical, and it's pretty well used in the same way as quite a lot of the other similar jobs, like Nipunawai, Wigram Basin, those sorts of things. Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, thank you for that, and thank you for the report. We'll move now to questions. Yanni.
Thank you for the work, and thank you for the report. It's a slightly weird one, but it is raised in here. So the dogs disturbing nests, and the lesson learned is if bylaws allow requiring dogs to be on leads would reduce nest disturbance, and then the comments are encouraging dogs on leads may be a more achievable alternative. Oh, so I just this is one issue that's come up at our community board too, that with the dog control bylaw, that like a bit we had this kind of with streets a wee while ago where instead of having things explicit in a bylaw and then having to go out to a big formal consultation every time something changes, that we have a schedule that we can amend by a resolution. So I just wondered in terms of that, because I guess the issue here is you've now got this wonderful wetland, but you've got birds nesting, and the dog control bylaw can't actually stop people from taking dogs through because it's not explicitly mentioned. So I just wondered if there was kind of a kind of response to this that would go, okay, what do we need to do in terms of our dog control bylaw, or to ensure that we can be nimble when new areas come on that we might want restrictions or not?
I think answering that one, we would need to do some sort of investigation into what changes we would actually need to make so that we can implement it.
Right.
And that wasn't I guess part of the scope of this project. No. But it is I guess it's somewhere that we could improve.
It might be something that we could pick up maybe outside of this meeting. I mean, it is a separate. It happens to be raised in this closeout report, but it is quite a separate issue. But it would be good to be able to pick that up.
Mr. Andrew?
Andrew Crossland did raise the.
I just wonder whether we should get a briefing from Andrew on it, because he's got it.
I think we need the regular. We need people in the bylaw sort of strategic area to just kind of see what's possible. It may not be possible because I think the dog control might actually be national legislation quite prescribed. Yeah. But it would just be good to think if there was a more flexible way to deal with areas where dogs.
But we should have a catch up, because I just wondered whether a sign explaining to people why they shouldn't have their dogs unleashed at certain times of the year might not do the same trick without having to have an enforceable bylaw, because that's the way I read it, was that it wasn't an either or, it was.
Okay. Anyway, if we could just get some information.
Yeah. So Miles is making some notes so that we can pick it up as a briefing. We can have a look at what tools we've got in the toolbox to deal with the issue. Yep, that's good. Pauline.
Thank you. Just on page 116, I think it is, you've got 2 awards there. Are they 2 different awards? One's a contractor award and one's an environmental award. The civil contract is a winner in the Geo Fabrics New Zealand Limited Environmental Award winner for Grounds and Services Limited. Can you talk to us a bit about those?
Unfortunately, I wasn't the project manager during the construction, so I'm not 100% sure. So basically, the person who was the project manager of the job has moved on from council now.
So who was that?
It was
Corey
Al
Wright.
Corey Wright.
Sorry?
Al Corey Wright was the project manager on this job during construction until basically the COVID times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know enough detail to.
So is it for the project management of the contract and also for the environmental design?
The contractor won award for their delivery of the environmental aspects of the project. Basically, so it was the contractor that we had on site, GSL, won the award.
Right, and this is a New Zealand award or an international award?
And you should be a New Zealand award. Yeah.
Right, I think it's disappointing that there's no one here to speak to that, because these are the sorts of things that we really need to celebrate in this council. We've got some incredible engineers and project managers and designers in this building and right across the board, but particularly in the land drainage area and the environmental area. And I think it's really lovely to celebrate these things. So it'd be nice if the media could pick up on some positive stories from this council as well. So perhaps you could send a memo out to us, just a little bit more information on that would be really nice, I think.
That would be good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there must be someone who's got that information. If we can have it circulated, that would be excellent.
And even show us the award would be really nice in person.
I'm 100% certain that the contractor would like to show the award off and
Yeah.
tell us all about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Thank
get
you.
some details. Thank you. Phil.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Just in that we're, it's cost an extra 615 grand. Did we, in hindsight, put the job out too early, and was it not quite, the design not finished, and that's why we've paid 615 grand more?
I think that we would have paid the price for doing the work that we ended up doing is the price that we would have paid either way. And we weren't 100. We started the job before we were 100% sure on what the volumes of earthworks and such were. So we fast tracked it, and that meant we had less surety of what the price was going to be. But because it was measuring value, we paid for the amount. We paid the agreed rate for the amount of earthworks that.
Oh, yeah, I understand. You've got the measuring value, the next one down, and I understand measuring value. It's just how many cubic metres you shift. But did we actually pay whoever the contractor was, and I don't care who it is, did we pay them extra because it was wet, winter? Because that normally doesn't happen.
We paid them in line with the 3910 contract, basically. So everything that we had to pay, we did.
Okay.
That was the.
But would you say in hindsight that we should have waited a bit longer and designed it better before we put it out?
We could. I don't want to answer the question without knowing the ins and outs of the contract, not being the manager at the time. So I can come back and give you an update.
No, it's
on that,
okay.
but that's, I don't want to get the information wrong.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any further questions? All right, so we've got a recommendation just to receive the information in the report, which I'm happy to move. Do I have a seconder? Jimmy Chen. Is there any discussion? All those in favour say aye. Against? That's carried. Thank you, and thanks very much indeed for being here to answer questions as best you're able. Thanks very much indeed. All right, now the final item that we haven't yet dealt